Hi guys again, so it's later on in the same day, and I've done a tarot kind of reading spread. I do cards already, but I'm not familiar with this spread as I usually use a different one. And as soon as I shuffled the cards and I put them down, when I read for other people, I reveal the cards one by one. But this one, I thought, you know what? Because I'm not familiar with the spread anyway. It's just reveal all the cards so we can see exactly what they are. The spread that I have done, if you can see, can't really see, is the Celtic cross. My laptop isn't the best. I don't want the charger to plug out, so it will go off. Oh, it's froze, so I don't even know if you can see properly the cards. Well, okay, this isn't a very good view, but if you can see here, you know what I'll do? It doesn't really matter because I'll put each card up the camera what represents. Okay, the first card is Queen of Cups, and in the place that it was, it represents the present, and it represents what's going on at this time, reflects my mind and how I'm perceiving a situation. So, being in that place, the Queen of Cups would tell me that I'm being very sensitive, very empathic. There's no crab on this, but basically, Queen of Cups, it represents a woman that's sensitive, a woman that's very emotional and empathic to other people's feelings, and someone that's always going to go out their way for somebody else. But there's always a warning with this card as well, and it's almost like it brings forth like a warning so people don't take your kindness to weakness. It's saying because there could be a situation where, because of your good nature, someone's ready to take advantage of that. So, with this card being in the present moment, that makes me very aware. This card is card 2. This represents the challenge, an immediate challenge or problem that I'm facing, something that I'd like to be resolved, and if it does get resolved, it makes life a lot easier for me. So I need to, even though this is meant to be a challenge, Prince of Cups, whenever I do readings for someone else, I always say that it's saying that you just are, basically, no matter how low that I feel, like if you look at the card, Cups represents emotions. You can see that it's quite chaotic in the background. You've got waters, they're not still, and you've got a man. This is the prince, and he's just hovering just above water. So that's the imagery that I like to remember, that no matter how deep you get to the water, or no matter how emotional you feel, you might feel like something's overcome you, overcoming sadness, overcoming weakness, mourning, misery, but you're still above water. You are above water, no matter how close you think you're getting. So that's positive. And obviously, as well, in the card, you can see that he's holding the reins, and he's not like pulling tight. He's cruising. So he's just cruising just above all these rocky emotions and rocky waters. So that's nice. So it's saying that, oh yeah, Queen of Cups. That's an emotional card as well. So emotional, but that's all right. I don't mind that. That's quite relevant and quite real. Okay, now the third one, King of Swords. I don't get this card too often. Not King, sorry, Knight. Knight of Swords. Whenever I think of knights, knights are usually like what you use to protect something powerful. Like the king always has knights to protect his kingdom. So what, and swords represents the intellect, the mind. So I need to protect my thoughts and protect how I'm letting my thoughts affect me. He's got swords, and you can see he's going to attack, diving, he's got his swords placed forward. So it's like he's in action now. So It's my subconscious saying, you know what, we're on your side and working for you. We're going to control these thoughts. You don't have to worry about that. Then we've got the fourth card, which is Queen of Swords. And if you can see, this lady sitting on top of the clouds. She's got a mask in her hand and a sword in the other. Whenever I see a sword, it always symbolises truth for me. And she's up, so she's on a higher perspective, she's on a higher level, she's up on the clouds, you can't get much higher than that. And she's resting, so that she's not worrying about anything. So she's got to the perspective that she needs to come to, and she's able to take off the mask and just be herself and be free. Whenever I see a topless woman as well, to me that represents freedom. Now we've got this card. And actually, I didn't tell you what that one represented, sorry. The fourth card that I just held up, that represents the future, indicates what's going to happen in the next 3 weeks or months. So it's not the final outcome, but just the next step, which is interesting because before I did the spread, I was just like, what's the question? Because usually I don't ask a question. I just let it be a general reading. I usually just pick 4 cards. I never do this spread, but I thought, okay. This spread's kind of interesting because it pinpoints things. This card's interesting now because this was the 5th card, and this reflects my goal and my aspirations and my best outcome in the situation that I'm in. And I like this because it's just so easy to read. You got Prince of Swords, and as I said before, swords represents the intellect, the mind. It represents air, so again, it's talking about my thoughts. As you can see, it's almost like the Prince Giant, and even though he's bigger than all these little thoughts, you could say, they're pulling on him. These thoughts, one's going in one direction, and they're tugging him, and he's like having to put his sword behind his back in order to strike at these thoughts. So to me, this is definitely conflict, a conflict card, but because it's an advice card, it's telling me to deal with a mental conflict, to deal with these thoughts that aren't serving me, the thoughts that are putting me down, putting my situation down, and the thoughts that are making me want to blame other people, and the thoughts that are making me want to become the victim in this situation. I've got to rein and have control over them and rein them all in. Whenever I see yellow, yellow always represents willpower for me. So I need to make sure my energy is in my solar plexus, and I'm making sure that I'm willing things to be. I'm not just letting my mind play with me and then seeing what my mind's projected. I'm actually using my will. The 6th card, which is below, this card reflects my goal and aspirations and my best outcome in the situation, or what I'm working towards consciously to attempt to solve this situation. So, victory! That's alright, isn't it? So, this is lovely. Lovely. I'm so glad it's victory. 6 as well. 6 to me, I'm interested in numerology, as probably you might have guessed. If you look at the number 6, it's almost like a number 1 with a pregnant number 1. So the 6 also in numerology, it's like a cosmic mother. So it's that mothering, that energy, that loving energy, the energy of possibilities as well, because that's what pregnancy is the possibility growing and you're sustaining it. So that's what it also represents, possibilities to gain, possibilities to win in this card. None of the other cards had any real astrological symbology in there, but this card here, we've got Leo at the bottom and we've got Jupiter at the top. Jupiter, they always say like it represents luck, and Leo, whenever I think of Leo, I think of confidence, and the sun represents Leo as well. So all these planets revolve around the sun. So Leo has got a lot of energy, a lot of dynamic energy, go-getter energy, independent. So that's a really good card to say that's like the best outcome. I should think so. Right, a seventh card, I like number 7, is the advice card. And this represents Aries. This card's called the Emperor, and it's one of the trumps cards. And anytime there's a trump card in a spread, it's a very important card to really look into, because the trumps represent where we are in life and different stages of our life cycle. Whereas, let's say the court cards, they can represent people that come in your life. But back to this card, as you can see, you can see the bomb in his hands. It's almost like a ticking bomb. Aries, ruler is Mars of Aries. So Mars is like that warlord. This represents authority, male authority, or even a father figure in this card. But because it's so red and orange, it's all about getting that drive and getting what you want. Make sure you're focusing on exactly what you want and using that dynamic, that raw energy, using that drive, because obviously we could use that powerful drive for things that would be negative and destructive. But as it's an advice card, it's telling you to address these energies and put them forward to something that's going to benefit you. Or me, should I say, because it's my reading. Now we've got card 8, which is external influences, and it says prudence. This is discs, 8 of discs. Well, this card, as you can see, Virgo. I'm a Virgo, so I know all about this. And with prudence, it's almost like knowing, like, I feel it already. You've got 8, obviously 8. 8 flowers blossoming here. So it's almost like a harvest. You're reaping what you sow with this card, which is very interesting. Very interesting. 8, sometimes it represents abundance, it represents cycles. So is an external influence, is this a cycle? This one as well, swords. Prince of Swords, looks quite conflicty. Not just because he's got a sword, because sword represents how we deal with struggles as well. Sword. We look at the card, it's like he's battling with something, so mentally there is a mental conflict, and I am battling. I am battling with something, but if you can see, like, you can't see an enemy in the card. You can see this. He's got his sword, but there's just smoke. And usually, when behind smoke represents illusions to me, anyway. So it's like whatever I'm battling with, it's probably an illusion anyway, a mental illusion. And we've got what card? 10. The outcome, which for me, having so much Libra as well in my chart, this couldn't be better piece. We've got 2 swords, which is good because all my other sword cards in this reading were like conflict cards. So it's good to have the 10th card, the outcome, being swords, which was conflict before, but now it's peace. It's truth, it's mental clarity. You've got the moon at the top of the card, and you've got Aquarius, which is beautiful. Aquarius represents like doing the greater thing for the good, making decisions based on humanity. Very humanitarian card. So that's nice. We're between the age of Aquarius, aren't we? Information. So That's nice. That's lovely. Like, it makes me smile. That does. So, I'm going to love you and leave you now because I'm actually tired. Good night.